The biggest nightmare ever, getting this battery tray out. It wouldn't be so bad if everything was accessible, but this is obviously made for somebody with teeny tiny hands. So what I did in order to get this out, there's 2 bolts here, 1 bolt here, and then 1 bolt that goes in the side from the outside, not counting the one that holds the washer reservoir to the side of the battery box. Also removed these. They're 10 millimeters. One of these is a ground, the other one is a bracket that holds this wiring harness. I removed the shifter. When it goes back on, with it being in park, goes on just like so. After this is put back into place, of course. That mounts on the transmission like this with 2 10 millimeter bolts with front facing forward. This slides back onto the stud. It's not hard to mess this up, but it can be messed up. But if this is still all connected and you didn't take it out of park, that's going to be exactly how it goes on right there. So now I can continue on with what I was doing earlier, which is removing the ABS pump, which is a job in itself, just for the record. After having the battery tray out, I can finally see what exactly needs to come loose. This has to come off because it's a very short ground. It's connected to this harness that needs to go that direction. I believe there's a clip that's right up under here. Simply, yep, there's a clip there. It wouldn't move earlier, so I had a feeling that that might be the issue. That, and it was connected to the side of the battery box. Or the battery tray, sorry. This hole is slightly larger, just to be able to gain access to the bottom battery tray bolt. This is not too big of a deal. It doesn't matter if that little bit of water comes inside or not, because it's just going to drop right down because the hole is not that big. Anyways, with that being said, oh, that tab just broke right off. That is literally all the length you have. So millimeter. They really need to make these swivel on the end and have a gear wrench inside of them. I'm not sure why they haven't done that yet, but it needs to be done. I'm going to take this harness out, put the nut back on, just so it doesn't get confused with other nuts in the area, and bam, there is my full access to the front bolt. And I still can't see if there's a back one. I tried removing this bolt here, but you can't get to the back one, so it's pointless. So I will continue on with the front one. Annoying. See, this is where that gear would come in handy. And of course, these are going to be snug all the way out. Come on. Oh, I see the back bolt. Of course, you can't see it through this video. Let's see if I can get it to focus down there. Well, you can kind of see it. There's too much stuff in the way to be able to get a clear view of it. I think what I'm going to do is try to get my gear wrench inside of there. Just ratchet these out instead of fighting with bolts that are going to be tight all the way out. It'd really be nice if I could get these off. If I can, then all of this was for nothing. I had somebody working on this before me, so it may or may not be easier for me, since I'm in front of it now instead of beside it, to be able to get this out. These you shouldn't have to take all the way out, because this is a rubber grommet that's right beside there. Let's see. I can feel the nut back there, but I'm not entirely sure I'm going to be able to get the wrench on it. Moment. You see what's missing? It's in my hand. So you can access it without having to take all that other crap out, but in order to get the brake booster out, that piece still has to come out. But now I can get in there, hopefully easier, more especially to that back one back there. The front one, I'm not entirely sure yet, but as I make my way further back, I will know. And of course, the main socket that I need fell down in the bottom tray. It's a 13 millimeter. Both of those are 13 millimeters, and with the one that I have, it's a magnet on the end of a quarter drive socket that is short like these. So I can put it in an angle back here, maybe. I think probably what I'm going to do first is get this master cylinder out of the way. That way maybe I'll have just a little bit more wiggle room. And no, I don't live near a racetrack. But anyways, I'm going to try to get the master cylinder out of the way first and see if I can get that bracket loose over there with the quarter drive. Be right back. Okay, to answer my previous issue, you cannot get that out with that bracket being on. There is a post that goes through into the brake pedal. This is the cheesiest design ever too. So under the dash there is a white clip that goes onto that ball. Then there is a bolt that holds that black bracket on that's inside of there, which the bolt technically doesn't have to come out, but I took it out anyways, simply because I wasn't entirely sure how to get it loose. So I can put the bolt back together and put it back in. The bracket that, or the white plastic piece that holds that in, it's the post is supposed to slide up and out of this bracket. I did take the bar loose there, the intermediate shaft. Hopefully it only goes in one way, but I haven't touched the steering wheel, so it should go back on the same way it came off. The bolt for that intermediate shaft is a 13 millimeter. the nuts for the brake booster are also 13 millimeter. This bolt and nut here, they go together. They go into this hole right there that holds this black plastic piece in place, although it doesn't do very good of a job. Nonetheless, it's 13 millimeter here. I have no idea on the other side. I used a pair of long needle noses just so I didn't have to keep running back and forth. That was what I have readily available by me. I'm gonna go back outside and take that bracket loose. That bracket has to come off. I can see this one full well. I can see this one. And I do have, laying around here somewhere, a 13 millimeter swivel. I've got no idea where it's at the moment. Oh, it's under my hand. I should be able to get that wiring harness moved just a little bit. Oh, assuming I don't drop this. Grab an extension just so I don't have to hold on to that in a tight area. Come on, give me my socket back. I would assume that it would probably be easier. Take that wiring harness loose right there. Run the extension under this little lip here onto that bolt. And then the back one I may have to just ratchet out by hand. I'm gonna grab a couple tools. Okay. This goes to the ABS, so make sure not to mess it up. Oh, it's going to be tight. Definitely not going to be using the electric ratchet. I have to use a manual ratchet on that. I think she brought out a 13 millimeter gear wrench. Oh shit. Sockets all over the place. Just put it all together. It's not like I need all of my sockets anyways, right? Of course you can't see them, they're black. One there, one there, one there. Don't know where the rest of them went. Maybe somewhere down there. I'll run a magnet across the ground and find it. Right, there is a 13 millimeter. So, back to the back bolt. Make sure I'm going in the right direction here with the ratchet. Nope, wrong way. I wonder. Oh man, that's gonna make easy work of that. As soon as the ABS pump is out, of course you can actually get in there. I'm thinking the hard way, not being able to get in at all. Comes out nice and pretty. You want to make sure you don't drop these, otherwise I have one heck of a time trying to find it. Let's see if I can get this without having to get a manual ratchet. Ah, come on. Maybe it's loose enough to finger out. I mean, I can. I just can barely get my fingers to it. Okay, 1 second. For the love of Pete. I got those 2 bolts out. But I don't know if you can see down there. There's another bolt down at the bottom. It's a 13 millimeter as well, so I'm going to try to worm the extension, swivel socket, and the ratchet down inside of there. If not, I have a super long extension. I just don't want to use it because then that means that I'm limited on being straight on or completely crooked. You don't want to bind all of these up, and you definitely don't want to bind those up because they do break. Okay, so I found out the hard way you can't get in there with the extension and the electric ratchet. So back to manual. This is a worn out 1/2 inch medium weld socket, not exactly a deep weld socket. A little cheap cheesy crap. I do have a good ratchet. I may end up having to get it up under the vehicle to get it. Let's see. Make myself a little bit of wiggle room. Maybe that'll be enough. Well, I might be able to get in there with the other one too. Nah. I would rather do the sure thing than a possibility. Well, if I can get it on there. Let me tinker with this for a second, see if I can get in there a little bit easier. This video is already getting long. Alright, sweet. I did get the swivel inside of there with the same 10-inch extension. I guess the ticket was moving that line out of the way just so I could gain access to it. And I really hope that the transmission control module is not going to be in the way, but by the looks of it, it probably is. Everything on this thing has been in the way of something. So I'm going to mess with it for a little bit. Pretty sure the transmission's control module is going to have to come out, and I can't see yet exactly how to get it out of there, but I will find out. I won't be posting another video about this, but good luck if you decide to do it yourself.